Guys, it is Core Ambition here, and today we're going to be talking about a Starfighter Assault map concept that I would really like to see in the game. Obviously, Starfighter Assault has been, it has been dead. We can put it like that. Obviously, the numbers have been severely low compared to what it once was, and I feel like this map would bring everyone back, not only because it's a new map, but because is based on, in my opinion, one of the greatest space battles in Star Wars history, and that is the Battle of Endor. Also, the battle that destroyed the second Death Star. Now, I know we already do have an Endor map, but it has Death Star debris. But I think a lot of us would actually enjoy a map that we actually have the Death Star intact and the battle from Episode 6 is still raging on. So, the concept I'm going to bring to you is coming right now. So, basically, for the first phase, this is basically the point in the movie where the rebels have discovered that, the attack on the Death Star is a trap. Empire knew they were coming, and now the rebels are trapped between the Death Star and the Imperial fleet. They're going to have to protect the smaller transports, a part of the fleet that includes, the Nebulon frigates, the corvettes, as well as the GR-75s. The Imperials will go on the attack, and all they have to do is take down as many of these transports as possible. There will be quite a bit of ships. Let's just say 5 of these different types of ships. And what the rebels have to do is they have to try and defend as much of them as possible. All the Imperials would have to do is shoot them down. That's literally all they have to do is keep firing at them. The rebels have to defend, and they'll have to defend the transports for X amount of time. And basically, the more transports the rebels actually keep, that means the more tickets they will have for the next phase. So let's say there are 5 transports, the Imperials destroy, let's say 2. For each transport they destroy, that's like 20 tickets, because 20 times 5 is 100, and that's the maximum amount of tickets. So let's just say the Imperials destroy 2 transports in like a few minutes, right? In 5 minutes. This isn't going to be the most interesting objective, but after those 5 minutes, they destroy 2 transports. And this isn't that interesting, however, it is vital, and it will depend a lot on the future of the rebels' victory. So let's just say the rebels manage to save 3 transports, and they will keep 60 tickets for the next phase. So the second phase is actually way more interesting. So this is the part where now both the fleets are tangled, and it's kind of based off the 2005 Galactic Conquest gameplay in space. So you're going to have 2 transports, 1 Mon Calamari cruiser for the rebels, and 1 Star Destroyer for the Imperials. Basically, they're going to be fighting it out as, in the 2005 Battlefront. And both teams will have to be the first one to destroy each other's transport. So what ends up happening here is that there's kind of like, again, like the 2005 Battlefront, there's different vital systems like the bridge, life support, engines, for both ships, all that stuff. So yeah, if you want to do the most damage to the other ship, bombers will come in really handy, as well as interceptors will be really good for defense, trying to intercept other ships fast before they can deal critical damage to a system. Also, another cool feature I wanted to add is that you could actually spawn in turrets of each other's ship. So let's say you have 500 battle points. You could spawn in a turret for either the rebels or the Imperials, depending on what side you're on, and you can actually be in there for a limited amount of time. So let's say for 60 seconds, you can be in a turret, dealing damage to the enemy capital ship, or trying to take out enemy starfighters, and you're in there for a certain amount of seconds. This would be cool because obviously, in the battle, both capital ships would be using their turret systems to try and, aid in the battle. So if the Mon Calamari cruiser is destroyed, then the rebels are defeated. However, if the rebels defeat the Imperial Star Destroyer, this is where it proceeds to the third phase. Alright, so now it is the third phase. Now, basically, the transition period from this, the Death Star shield generator has been destroyed. Now it is the go-ahead to attack the Death Star itself. For the transition period, I kind of wanted to feel that, the rebels are starting to win. So once the Star Destroyer is destroyed, you would also see other Star Destroyers be destroyed in the background, including maybe the Super Star Destroyer, the Executor, crashing into the second Death Star to give you the feeling that, the rebels are close to victory. And yeah. But yeah, for the third and final phase, I was actually inspired to base this part off the 2015 Battlefront of Battle Station game mode. At the final phase, you would have to destroy the Death Star. So how you would do this is, once you get close to the Death Star, there will be a little kind of opening in the Death Star. Now, 3 special fighters, or maybe even 1, depending on how it would work, would be chosen to lead the attack, and the starfighter will have to travel a certain amount of checkpoints until it gets to the core of the Death Star where the reactor is, and they just fire a torpedo at the reactor, and then the ship can head on out. So once the ship gets inside the Death Star, it will have to be going through very small crawl spaces, very tight turns, and it is very intense to actually, maneuver. Now, the other starfighters can either follow them to try and give, your starfighter that's leading the attack some cover, or they can stay on the outside of the Death Star and try and stop the Imperial fighters from actually entering, because obviously they would want to follow the starfighter and try and shoot it down before it gets to the reactor, and the way to obviously get in is or to go through the same opening that X-Wing did. So it'd be very interesting to see how the defense would work. The Rebels would really have to hold down that opening if they want to try and stop as much Imperial starfighters as possible. But, obviously a few Imperial starfighters will probably get through, and they will try their best to shoot down the X-Wing, A-Wing, Y-Wing, whatever, before it destroys the reactor. And, obviously it should be very reminiscent of the actual Death Star 2 scene from the movie. Got a lot of pipelines, got like some tight turns, and it would be very intense for the lead pilot. Obviously, they would have to make sure that they don't crash into anything and make sure that they are protected or safe from the Imperial TIE fighters from behind. But yeah, if the pilot can make it to all checkpoints and get to the reactor shaft, all they would do is fire the torpedo, the Death Star reactor is destroyed, and then you get your cutscene. That's how I would end the mode, and I think it would be very fun. And that is basically what I wanted to say. Comment down below what you think of my Endor concept, guys. I would really like to hear the feedback. But this has been Core Ambition. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you believe in the high ground. But peace out, everyone, and have a nice day.